Hello there, and in this video we are going over how to find the area of some basic two-dimensional shapes. Now remember, two-dimensional just means it's flat, okay? So let's look at the square first. How to find the area of a square is simply length times width. The area of a rectangle is just elongated, and it's the same thing, the length times the width. It's like it was a rectangle that got blown over. Knocked over! But you have to be careful because this width is actually the height. It has to make a right angle at the base. See how this makes a right angle? So the length is still the base of it, but now the height is the width. This right here is called the slant height, and that's different. So now I'm going to show you a proof on how you can find the area of these three shapes.
Remember how the area of a rectangle equals length times width? Let's manipulate this rectangle to form a parallelogram to show also that a parallelogram equals length times width. Now the first step here is to find any point along the top and connect it to the bottom corner using a straight edge. With the scissors, go ahead and cut off that extra triangle and slide it to the other end. And look at that, you just made a parallelogram. Now, if you notice, the length is still the same as the rectangle, and the width is still the same as well because we never changed the height. So the area of a parallelogram is the same as the area of a rectangle, length times width.
And now let's go over how to find the area of a triangle. Do you agree that a triangle is half of a rectangle or a square? Watch. So you remember how the area of a rectangle is length times width. Now we're only talking about half. So your equation for a triangle is simply 1/2 length times width. Now let's see the proof for how that came to be.
As you know, the area of a rectangle equals length times width. Here I'm going to show you that the area of a triangle equals 1/2 times length times width. The first step is to pick any point along the top edge and connect it to both bottom corners, forming a triangle. Using a scissors, go ahead and just cut out that triangle. With the cutout pieces, you're going to rearrange them to fit on this triangle. Notice here that the length of the triangle is the same as the length of the rectangle. Now let's look at the height. Notice that the width of the rectangle is the same as the height of the triangle. So the dotted line is the height of the triangle, which is the same as the width of the rectangle. Do you remember how we started out with just one piece of paper, but we formed two triangles out of it? That's the key to determining the formula for the area of a triangle. You take the area of a rectangle, length times width, and multiply that by 1/2, which is the same as dividing it by 2. So your final formula is 1/2 base times height, or 1/2 length times width.
And now let's go over a few examples. Here we have a rectangle with the base 8 centimeters and the height 5 centimeters. Rectangle, length times width, 8 times 5, 40. But remember how I told you that it was two-dimensional? So you want to make this squared because we're talking about 2 dimensions. And here we have a triangle where the base is 10 units and the height is 10 units. Well, remember the formula is 1/2 length times width, or 1/2 base times height. So what's 10 times 3? So 1/2 times 10 times 3. Well, 10 times 3 is 30, and half of 30 is 15. Just remember your label, units squared. That is how you find the area of those basic shapes. Good luck!